again, thank you for coming. It's awesome to be here, and welcome to Austin. So for how many of you here, Austin is your hometown? Can you, by show of hands? That's a good number. Let me share my Austin story. I love the city. I've been here a couple of times. One in 2015, and the other time was in 2017. And I once came for an Adobe Commerce event, and the other time I came for a big commerce event. I really love the city. But then one of my biggest challenges with Austin, because I travel a lot, you don't really get nonstop flights. As some of you know, you have to either go to Dallas or Houston. And I always knew Austin as a cute or a nice city between Houston and Dallas. That was my exposure to Austin. And around 2019, we wanted to move our HQ from California to Texas. And we knew Apple was building a big campus here right by Domain, a few miles from here. So we thought, OK, why not just check out Austin? And we rented an Airbnb. I stayed in an Airbnb for a couple of months, close by downtown, and I lived here. So it was really good. And then, as a lot of you know, with respect to Texas real estate, they say when you buy a house in Texas, the price does not go up, it does not come down, it just stays flat, and you don't really make any money. So that was my understanding of Texas, that was my understanding of Austin, but a lot of people were moving to Austin even in 2019. But Austin, if you look at it, was still like any other city in Texas. It was still like Dallas, or it was still like Houston. So if you can afford to buy in another city, you could afford to buy here as well. So that was my exposure. So it's all good. But then, in the last couple of years, as you know, the prices have skyrocketed. Some of it could be attributed to inflation or supply chain challenges. But still, Austin, as you know, is one of the fastest growing cities in the world. If you drive around, as you would have, you will always see construction happening in Austin every day, which is very exciting. Cities like New York have also grown rapidly at some point, but what is very interesting and exciting for me is we are seeing growth of Austin right in front of our eyes. This is really, really amazing. What can distributors learn from the city of Austin? How can we copy the Austin growth story and apply it to our distribution businesses? This is a question I think all of us need to ask if we are in the distribution business. Distributors have a unique opportunity today. Some distributors have grown a lot. They are very smart, grown a lot through acquisition, strategy, and execution. SRS Distribution, one of our customers, they are here, and they keep acquiring a lot of independent distributors, and then they keep growing. But if you look at it, a lot of distributors are family-owned businesses, independent distributors, and the growth has pretty much been steady. You know, it's not been like exponential or anything, and it's family-run businesses. But now, I feel that this is a great opportunity for distributors to capitalize on the know-how and capitalize on the learnings they have got and see if they can create a growth like the Austin city. This is a great opportunity. So what should distributors do, or what can distributors do to make this happen? In his book, The Ride of a Lifetime, written by Bob Iger, the ex-CEO of Disney, he says, do not do the same good thing for too long, even if you are very good at it. Another thing he says is innovate or die. If you do not innovate, another distributor down the street is just going to eat your lunch, and you're going to go out of business. And this is a big challenge. So what can distributors do to innovate? Well, you can invest in research. Research, innovation, all this are like big buzzwords. Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, hey, we are innovating, we are investing in research. But how can you make this happen? Run experiments. Run small experiments all the time. You, as a company, need to be running experiments all the time. And the more the number of experiments you run, the better the opportunity to innovate, and the more you can innovate. And now, distributors also have a great opportunity with respect to tech. According to a study from Gartner, 80% of the B2B sales will be digital by 2025. This is something we are already seeing, and you would see that in your businesses as well. A study from Distribution Strategy Group, DSG, also outlines the same thing, where the adoption and the maturity of technology is getting big with respect to the distribution community. So how can distributors leverage tech? Technology is no longer just an enabler. Every distributor also is a technology company. Every company is a technology company. So what can distributors do? Having small wins and taking baby steps makes a big difference. Step 1, content was, is, and will always be the king. Get your content right. Get everything lined up. Step 2, if you already have an e-com platform, great. Make sure it's scalable and ensure it works well. And if you don't have an e-com platform, make sure that you choose the right vendor and get an e-com platform up and going. And step 3, make sure your platforms are all integrated. Integrated commerce is the future of commerce. You want to make sure your ERPs, your PIMs, your CRMs, everything is integrated. And this will make a lot of difference for the distribution community. By show of hands, how many of you in the audience speak Spanish? Anybody? That's a good number. English? Everybody. All right, cool. Anybody speaks Tamil? I speak Tamil. Cool. Any other languages here? What do you speak, Patrick? Filipino. Awesome. Great. Anybody else speaks any other languages? Vietnamese? Wow. Cool. Very nice. Cool. Awesome. Again, diversity. So if you look at it, the States has been diverse. A lot of people in the last couple of centuries have flocked to the United States. You know, we start with nothing and you make a great living because this, as they say, is a land of opportunities. And one of the reasons why America is very successful is because of the immigrants. And it's a land of immigrants where everybody comes and flocks and then they make a great career. And diversity plays a very, very big role. Talking about diversity, this is a great opportunity even for the distribution community to ensure that your businesses get diverse. Let's learn from countries and let's see what are the learnings we can apply to the team to make sure it's diverse. And we are also very proud of what we have done in the last few years as a company at DCKAP. We have gone fully remote, we are fully distributed, and now it's really exciting to work with people from different cultures, different languages, and we have people from across the world, which is exciting for us. And in addition to diversity, another big difference distributors can do is invest on your culture. Culture plays a very, very big role with respect to what you do as a company. Talking of culture, we are very proud of our culture here at DCKAP, and I want to thank the entire DCKAP team for playing a major role in this. But I do want to take this moment to acknowledge somebody really special from the team. So this person from DCKAP has actually done all sorts of roles. He's played different roles in the company. He's been through our ups and downs, highs and lows, and everything was good. He is a go-getter. He has a great attitude, very, very, very smart. And then when the pandemic hit, one day he called me and said, hey, I got COVID. I wasn't too concerned because I think everybody got COVID at some point or the other, even if we don't test positive. Hey, we have COVID. And then I thought, okay, it's going to be fine. And he was also taking some client calls, even when he had COVID, to keep him busy. And then a couple of days later, he called me up and said, hey, I'm going to get admitted in a hospital. I was like, hey, I'm not too sure why he's going to a hospital. But again, I wasn't too concerned as well. Because like most of us, I thought he's going to go to a hospital, stay there for a couple of days, and come back. And he's young, healthy. And he also has a young family. His son he's 2 years old. And he also had a daughter coming, 6 months. His wife was 6 months pregnant. But then what was supposed to be 2 days in the hospital ended up being a 6+ months stay in the hospital. And he was pretty much in his deathbed. And the doctors gave up hope. And the doctors said, hey, you know what? This person is not going to live anymore. But our friend really fought for himself and his family, stayed in the hospital for 6 months. He has great willpower. And then after 6 months, he was in an oxygen concentrator for a couple of months and then came back very, very strong. And that's none other than Timothy Deep, or Tim Deep. And I would like to call him up on stage because he's also completed 10 years with DCKAP. And I want to take this moment to acknowledge his great efforts. And thank you, Tim, for completing 10 years. And please come on stage. Talking about DCKAP, as Bill mentioned, DCKAP was started in 2005. We started with 2 desks, 2 computers, and 2 people. We made a lot of mistakes, had our ups and downs, and also had a lot of failures. And recently, early this year, we went through a major rebrand. So what is that we do as a business? We simplify commerce for distributors. That is all we do. We also had different product names, as some of you, as you know. We had Chloris, which was an integration platform. We also had FlexiPIM, which was a PIM product. And we also had a bunch of other names. And then we talked to customers, we listened, we got their feedback. And one of our biggest learnings was when we did the customer interviews is, hey, your product names are very, very confusing. It's complicated. So we simplified it. So our integration product is called the DCKAP Integrator. And our PIM product is called the DCKAP PIM. And we also have a headless solution, which is called the DCKAP Headless. We have DCKAP B2B. And in addition to that, we have the QA Touch, which is a test management and automation platform. Talking about integration, we are very proud of our Integrator product because a lot of customers actually come to us today because of our Integrator product, and which is very exciting. And we have more than 100 distributors using our Integrator product today. But then, the Integrator product which we have today actually was born out of a failure. How did we start the Integrator product? So we were doing an integration with an eCommerce platform and an Epicos Profit21 for one of the distributors. And it was very, very complicated. This happened about 5 years ago. And when we were doing it, we ran into a lot of trouble. It wasn't easy because of 2 reasons. One, lack of expertise from our end at that point in time. And 2, the systems were complicated. It wasn't easy to integrate. But then we also attended the Profit21 Worldwide User Group Conference in Florida, Orlando, Florida in 2017. And when we talked to distributors, we really understood the pain points they have with respect to integration. And integrated commerce is the future, and we invested on it. And again, it's amazing teamwork, and it just makes it very, very seamless for distributors. And that's one of the big reasons why distributors find us today, and then they want to expand into other services. I was also meeting with a Jansan distributor in New Jersey last week. And when I met with him, he said that, hey, the e-com platforms are great. I love them. But a big challenge is a lot of e-com platforms which are available in the market today are built for B2C, and then they added B2B. So you still have to do a lot of work to get that to work. And we totally agree with them on that, and that's why we have the DCKAP B2B, which is something we are very excited about. So that would integrate with your Adobe Commerce, BigCommerce, Shopify, or other platforms, and that is something we are investing in as well. And we are also very happy as a company to be scaling with our customers. We started working with SRS probably about 8 years ago. It started as a small quality audit, doing some little bit of work, and then that's led into something really amazing. And what they recently did, we did for them, is we launched a 12 brands website for them on heritageplus.com, and kudos to the team. And you can also go check the site out, heritageplus.com. And I'm also looking forward to the session from Patrick Garcia, who's the VP of Innovation at SRS. Looking forward to your session, Patrick. And I would also like to thank all the speakers for coming. You guys made this event. Initially, when we wanted to do the roundup, we thought, okay, it's going to be a small event, and we'll just get our team together. But then it started getting bigger and bigger. And thank you to the entire team. And I would also like to thank all the audiences for coming, everybody here for being here, and also everyone who signed in online. Thank you so much. Gracias and Nandri. Thank you.